Jay from the Wednesday Night Whiskey Committee, here with another episode. Before we get started, let's present the committee. As I said, my name is Jay. With me this evening is co-host and co-founder Michael Mashed Potato Cavino.
Mashed Potato Johns.
I'm not acknowledging this until we change my nickname.
Michael J. Cavino.
Okay. Sure. Hi, everybody.
And co-host and co-founder, the Professor, John J. Feathers.
Good evening.
Sorry, a little inside humor.
Oh my God, blues.
I don't even know what the hell we're doing right now.
Let's start the show.
Let's present arms. As always, this week I am presenting the Kimber 45 ACP Ultra Carry 2, and as you can see, it is clear
and ready for takeoff.
It is.
I am presenting the Jan Wesson 44. As you can
That's
see,
speed.
we are clear.
You have the best spin, Mike.
You got a good spin too, bud.
You're like that guy from Dead or Alive. I am presenting a Browning High Power Mark III.
Clear.
As you can see, I'm clear.
All right. Moving right along. For those of you who are only listening to this show, you have missed out on probably about 10 to 15 minutes of extra bonus footage that is now being filmed and available on YouTube. It'll be uploaded. So as you can tell, the camera is here. It is operational and officially working. So
we don't know that yet.
That's true. Give us a couple. Give us a few trials. We'll get there. We swear. The only bad thing is now you realize how incredibly boring we really are.
We could just cut that first 48 minutes.
Why?
That's true.
The first 48 minutes of footage.
Yeah. The one where Jay fondles your balls.
Oh,
that's going on the
that's on the Patreon.
Paywall. That makes sense.
Oh boy. So I took out a Facebook ad last week, and the ad has officially run its course. It was over today, and I think we done pretty well for ourselves on it. As a matter of fact, I'd like to welcome all the new Whiskiteers who have
that's right.
Who have liked the page, and hopefully you stick around. And
hopefully they're listening.
Yeah, you're listening this week to what we're doing here. Maybe even watching us on the old YouTube. And I had a little side note here that he says he did it on purpose, but Jason was the 352nd person to like our page.
I did do that on purpose. I unliked it and liked it again.
As you heard with our last episode and this episode, you heard the sponsored ad for the Route 22 Rock and Blues Festival. If you are interested in taking out a sponsored ad with us, send us an email. We will give you the information and get you through that process. You can give us your ideas, or if you just want to leave it up to us, we'll do our best. Just let us know. And as always, we do have a Facebook page, an Instagram account, a Twitter, an email, which is wednesdaynightwhiskey@gmail.com. We have a Redbubble website where you can buy our swag. We also have a Patreon account if you are feeling generous.
How do you spell that, Jim?
You spell that Patreon.com.
Wow.
Was it reading?
I'm reading.
Okay.
Totally reading it. There's also a coffee site, which is ko-fi.com, and also a PayPal, which you can message us directly and cut out the middleman. And that is all I have here. Actually, no, I lied. There's one more little note. The winner of the sticker contest was none other than Whiskiteer Jeremy Nixon. And we'd like to, one more time, thank you, Jeremy, for your hospitality, inviting us into your home to film to record the last episode and do some footage. We really, really appreciate it.
We really did.
And we had a good time.
They went all out.
They really did.
Fun time.
It didn't feel like something was thrown together. They definitely...
No, yeah, he said he worked on it all week, and I was like, wow, we'd have probably thrown it together real fast. kind of like this show.
We
Why? This
probably
looks great.
we probably wouldn't have done as good a job as they did.
No, we really wouldn't. So with that, I am finished, and now the presentation of whiskey. As you remember from a few episodes ago, we are revisiting the tin cup whiskey, so there's not going to be like a full history on it. However, what this allows us to do is just to get right to the whiskey.
Get right to it.
And I am ready to get right to the whiskey.
Yeah, this, I have good memories of the tin cup.
That is a cool little cup.
It is.
Nice.
Nice. I think we need to consult Mr. Nixon about our tasting video earlier.
I think we do. There's got to be some sort of complaint.
Explain to the listeners and viewers.
Yeah, as we've mentioned before, it's no secret we do record on Tuesdays.
What?
What? This is a Wednesday?
I didn't want to waste
That's it. You've been lying to me this long.
My life is a lie.
They told me it was Wednesday, and I believed them.
We shot the Tasting Tuesday video earlier, and if you've seen the video by now, you've noticed in the video I said, like, wow, this has a taste that I can't pinpoint. And then afterwards, when Jason had some, he's like, this is not good. And then also at the same time, once we got here to Casa de Cavino, he also said, like, no, this isn't right. So I actually think we bought a skunk.
I think we got I don't think it can skunk.
Yeah,
we got a bad bottle.
We got a bad bottle of Maker's Mark.
Yeah.
It was really disappointing.
Not what Mr. Nixon offered.
It was honestly a good bottle of Jack Daniels.
That's giving Jack Daniels way too much credit.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well.
Jury's out on that one.
No,
But,
it's
yeah, no, it was like really not good compared to.
Comparatively speaking, no, it really wasn't. It was downright awful.
I just think we got a bad. I can't say that I think I've ever had a bad bottle.
No, usually it's pretty consistent.
Yeah.
Because we just tried the exact same Maker's Mark.
Right.
Yeah.
On Sunday.
It's not.
No, not at all.
Not even. No.
Mm-hmm. So, with
maybe somebody could bring up if they've ever had that happen.
Yeah, we'd like
if
to hear
they're used
your.
to a consistency in the same.
Yeah, send us an email on your on a bad bottle that you've purchased and have tasted and just couldn't finish drinking. Send us that email at wednesdaynightwhiskey@gmail.com. Boys, to episode 26.
Yes, sir.
Those that have come before.
Our Patreon. Those that still got a patron.
As we still do. And Scotty Knoll.
Love that guy.
And I'd just like to, I have it wrote here in the show notes, and I actually forgot to say it for those of you who have been with us since day one, and for those of you on day, I think today is 240.
Jay did math.
I did do math.
Scary.
Oh wait a minute, it's down at the bottom. Yeah, day 240. We salute you.
Is it really day 240?
Day 240.
Son of a gun.
Cheers, boy.
Holy crap.
I'm glad when you're drinking whiskey.
Yeah, if you're hearing any kind of like large audio disturbances right now, that's
Well, you'll notice it on the video
yeah,
if you're
that's
watching
Mike
the video.
Stone's flower.
That's this little butt face.
Butt face?
Butt face killer.
So, the fact that this episode is being filmed right now is courtesy of
That's right.
my parents, the Scar. Donate, and we send it to anybody. If you donate to the cause, you get to pick the show topic. So, discussion 1 this evening is the topic that was presented to us by them. And given the time of year it is, I know personally my children went back to school last week. I know yours started yesterday.
But by the time they hear this on Wednesday.
Don't air quotes. Today's Wednesday.
Oh, I'm sorry. 2 days ago I meant.
Yeah. So it's back to school time, and their discussion was they wanted us to talk about some of our fondest back to school memories, which
there is a Patreon.
There are some interesting stories if you hit the Patreon. And I think the question was all met with the same kind of expression of, well, huh, okay.
I just really don't have any, like, that stick out to me as
Right.
far as, I mean, a back to school memory, as implied by the phrase, is a memory that sort of stands out to you above all others, and I just don't really particularly, I thought about it, I just don't have, I have one I came up so I could share something.
Okay. I'm flying blind. I really don't have anything prepared. I'm trying. Do you?
I'm great.
Go
Yeah.
ahead. Go first.
Why would
Mike's
I
got a
start?
great one.
I'm the anchor.
He's got a great one, maybe we should.
Mine's not great. It's just I have one. Let's just put it that way.
Okay.
It didn't take me any time to think about it.
So you had one that did come right to you.
Exactly.
See, he has a real, at least he has a legitimate back to school memory.
I mean, I don't. Like I said, I don't necessarily have any. Like, oh boy. I think though, for me, once I got into high school, my fondest memories were because I lived so close to the school, that my friends would pick me up, and on the way through, and we would get to listen to the new tape or CD that we had. Catch a couple cigarettes before we were rolling into school smelling like an ashtray. But that's what I really look forward to, those every school year from like once I got into high school. I mean, short of that, it was just like, it's school. I wasn't really particularly fond of my high school experience, or school in general, I suppose. I was glad to be done with it.
I have lots of school memories that are a lot of fun, but I can't say any of them are particularly tied to
Back to school, yes.
I have some great other
because-
times of the year stories.
Yeah, well, because I think as a kid, most of the time, back to school is like the worst day of the year.
Yeah, we don't.
The last day of school is amazing. First day of school is
Right.
this year's gonna suck.
Here
Right.
we are again.
Here we are again. So that was your back to school memory?
We're gonna count it.
Really?
Why do we have to dig deeper?
That's good enough. I'm good.
I mean, but it wasn't just a back to school memory. It was just an everyday memory, like spending the 20 minutes to a half hour pre first bell in the cafeteria at the lunch table, having breakfast with my crew and.
Smoking cigarettes.
No, that's
Comparing all the tattoos you got over the summer.
You're smoking in the girls' room again.
that's how we do. But yeah, as far as like an actual like woohoo, I don't really have it because, like you said, it wasn't a moment that I look forward to.
Yeah.
So
What'd you have, buddy?
The only one that I can really pin down as far as being like a interesting, specifically back to school memory was, I'm pretty sure, I'm not even 100% sure of what year it was, but I'm pretty sure it was going back to my 10th grade year. I had let my hair grow for a while, as you can probably imagine. And
If I imagine.
my hair was pretty long, and my father, God rest his soul, was just, he had a hard time accepting that thing, and I think he always would have been a lot more comfortable if I had made more efforts to sort of integrate, but I had made very few efforts to integrate, and he grabbed me one day and threw me in the Jeep, and I'm like, I don't even know where we're going. And, Dad, where are we going? We're going to get a haircut, and you're going to walk in there, and he knew the lady, the barber, whatever, beautician, I don't know, whatever she was. And he said, that lady knows what she's talking about. She's like a trained professional. You're going to go in there, and you're going to ask for a suggestion, and you're going to get whatever she says. And I wasn't really prepared to accept to go along with that plan, but I just kind of wrote it out, you know. Thought I'd test the waters and see what happened. So I went in and I sat down in a chair and I said, well, like, I'm supposed to ask, like, well, what would you suggest, you know? And she didn't really want to cut all my hair off. Kind of liked it. And finally she looked down and she said, well, how about a mohawk? And I clarified, and I just, for like, I don't know, for clarification and to have it on the record, I distinctly remember asking her, like, let me get this straight. Are you officially recommending that this is what you're doing? You're recommending that I get a mohawk? And she was like, yeah, I think it'd be cool. So I got a mohawk. I had an 18-inch high mohawk.
That's amazing.
That's fantastic.
And I went back out to the Jeep, and I mean, I don't know if I have ever seen my father get so angry so quickly. But it was great. And
how long did the mohawk last? A few minutes?
A long time, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, I was into punk rock and stuff too, so I mean, like, as soon as she said, like, you want a mohawk, I was like, okay, that's in my wheelhouse.
Yeah,
that's fine. And the only thing that kind of sucked about it was deemed to be a distraction by the school, and I was penalized for having a mohawk in certain classes. Like gym class, they penalized me, and other stuff. I was never allowed to wear it up, but to school. But my mom thought it was really awesome. She used to help me, because, like, it was so long.
What did you use?
Everything. Knox gelatin mostly, and but in a pinch, toothpaste, just whatever.
Really?
Yeah, whatever.
Candle wax?
It was so high that I couldn't reach it, and my mom had to, like, finish it. She thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
And
awesome.
so yeah, I mean, that was like sort of like back to school memory of mine. So
That's a good one.
Yeah. Cool.
Mike Avila.
This is college, but you still go back to school when you go to college. And we had a friend of ours, of all of us, Sid, recently just started her first semester at college, and it kind of made me remember a specific semester of my going back to school. Because Jay was talking to her and saying about how her first day of classes, she was there for all of 10 minutes, basically the handing out of the syllabus, which was usually the first week of classes. So when you think of, like, back to school college memories, you don't really think of much because it's 10-minute classes for your first week, and then hell from there on out. But it was my halfway through my third semester. No, it was my third semester. It was my third semester at Penn State. I decided to do a study abroad in Rome, and Penn State didn't offer a study abroad program. They had to go through Temple, but my dad kind of pushed me to it because you know how much I liked Italy, and
I find it insane that Penn State didn't offer a study abroad.
not for my department. They had like an architecture department.
Okay, I was gonna say.
But for fine arts, Temple was the only one that offered one.
Right.
So I had to go through them, but Penn State did that. They offered to send you through different programs. And honestly, if you want to do a study abroad, doing it in college is the best way to do it because you can roll all of that into student loans. And so I decided to do a study abroad, but I knew not one single person that was going to be overseas with me. And it's not like taking a trip, like a summer trip away from your family to a camp or something. It's you're spending 5-6 months on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean.
Right.
And it was terrifying. So I remember that specific back to school moment, which is whenever the plane landed and we took a bus to what was going to be our apartments, and me just not knowing a single person and feeling terrified the entire time. And it was just so far outside of my comfort zone. And, like, not only was it a brand new school with brand new students in a brand new house with brand new roommates, but also a brand new country with a brand new language that I didn't speak. So it was, like, thrown right into the fire.
Did you ever feel, as an Italian, that you were somehow, once you were there, like you were somehow betraying them because you didn't understand them?
Well, I did. I had a semester of Italian before I flew over there.
Okay.
So I knew some Italian, and
What is the average Italian's grasp of English? I'd imagine pretty good,
well,
actually.
the thing is, Rome is extremely different than the rest of Italy. Like,
Right.
if you were to go anywhere else in Italy, if you're going to Florence, everyone would speak English.
Right.
But Romans, the people of Rome, it's not that they hate Americans, it's not that they hate English speakers, they hate everyone.
Right.
So if you go there speaking German, they're going to hate you just as
Right,
much as they
right,
hate the
right.
people speaking
Right.
English.
Right.
If you go there speaking a Venice dialect, they're still going to hate
You're not
you.
Roman.
Exactly. So, it wasn't like trying to smooth them over, it was, I'm an
Yeah.
outsider and they know it.
Did it? Did you feel? I mean, there's a lot of ways that you can interpret this, so feel free. But when you finally made it there, being Italian, did you feel as if you had, like, was that a great feeling for you to like
Yeah.
make a connection to like the ancestral homeland?
It
and
was really
stuff?
cool. The
Yeah.
biggest bummer to me was that I never got to actually take a trip to where my family's from, which was in Naples, yeah. But we weren't as close with our family over there as we are now,
Right.
because my dad has since reached out to them. But
Okay.
before it was like, they're trying to steal our land, so they didn't want me there. So I had no
That's
reason to go.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Damn Americans!
So
Was that in fact Italian?
Yeah, that's
Trying to steal
Did
my
you
land.
understand what I was saying?
I did.
That was all Italian.
I'm Italian.
Did you notice he used his hands to do it?
What did he do it?
They're trying to steal our land. No, it was
We're gonna have
really.
to edit that out.
No.
I don't think so. It was awesome.
No, that's
I've
pretty
never
awesome.
traded in that memory.
You did learn how to play Scopa, though.
I
Right?
did learn how to play Scopa, and I need to play it again because I haven't played in several years.
I think my daughter's looking to find someone.
We play in this
Scopa.
very room. This is the Scopa room now.
Scopa!
You gotta do it. Though.
You gotta say that.
Do you?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I have
You're
no
not
idea.
playing Scopa unless somebody says, I don't know, but at some point somebody always goes, Scopa! So I know that that's part of playing Scopa.
Okay. Whiskey!
Whiskey!
Hey.
That's part of playing whiskey.
Whiskey.
Let's drink.
Okay.
Okay.
Whiskey.
Please.
Thanks, Spartans.
Thank you, Spartans. Hey, I think we should open that discussion up. If any of the Whisketeers would like to jot a little.
Yeah, I know ours were kind of tame, so if you have any pretty cool
Yeah,
back to school
we were pretty
memories, we'd
lame.
like to hear them.
If you liked school, tell us why.
I gotta say, I didn't dislike.
Yeah, I didn't like the rudimentary, elementary school, that kind. I didn't until I had a sense of self.
Well, see, that's what made school fun. I kind of looked at it as like, I mean, I can't say that it took me that long to realize that it was less education and more brainwashing and social conditioning. And I really relished the idea of being able to stare the elephant in the eyes and see what it's really about, you know what I mean, so that I, could at least recognize it for what it was. But I mean, I don't know, I think I had a different educational experience too, though, because I spent 8 years in Catholic school
Yeah.
and then transferred over to public school in 9th grade.
Okay.
And,
Because I was public school the whole way.
yeah.
But no, yeah, it was one of those once. I could even go as far as to say it wasn't even until my my sophomore year that I somehow landed the lead in the school play,
That's awesome.
and then
What play was it?
Harvey, or no, I'm sorry, Macbeth did it, and
Did you do theater in school? I did too.
You did do it?
I did do
I
theater
did.
in school.
and it was.
Chorus. I was in the chorus.
What do you
I
do
took
chorus?
chorus as a senior just because you get the A for showing up.
I see. I had the pipes of a little flute.
If,
And then I hit puberty at All City Chorus, and they took me out of it.
if I would have shown
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
I'm pretty sure
That's
if,
terrible.
if I'd have shown up at chorus, even if they give an A just for showing up, I'd have failed. It would have removed me for sure.
Yeah, there was one of those. Apparently, I had a knack for English.
What happened?
I don't know. and it was one of the English teachers that says, "There's this thing going on tonight, and I want you to be here." And I said, "Okay, what?" And she's like, "Just show up.
Should I bring my goat?
Just bonus points. Just show up." And I went, "Okay." So I ended up staying after school for it. Here it was tryouts for the play, and I'm like, what is this? But apparently, like, she had already figured out, like, that's who I want as this character. Mm-hmm. Apparently, my just natural demeanor was the same character as the guy that's the play. And then all of a sudden, like, people were like, "Hey, there goes Jay," and I'd be like, "Yeah, you can notice me now. I still don't care." So I kind of had, I kind of had like a different. I was able to walk the hall now and people move, that kind of thing. So it was kind of neat. I guess that could be that's not a back to school memory, but
no, because the play's never right at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, that'd be weird. Welcome to school.
Welcome to school. I hope you learned your parts over the summer.
Dress rehearsals tonight.
Yes.
I had a weird back to school. I had one.
There we
just
go.
had one. Transferring over from Catholic school to public school.
I can't imagine.
In 9th grade, I was accepted into I didn't apply. I was just accepted into. I guess I was recommended. I don't know. Into the like accelerated classes, and that came with you took biology in Hollidaysburg. You took biology a year earlier. Well, all the kids that had been on that track, when they were in 8th grade at the end of the year, they were given like this paper or whatever that described to them how they had to do a leaf collection and an insect collection over the summer for 9th grade biology. And you had to turn it in like at the first, you had to do it over the summer, and you had to turn it in like real early in the year. Mm. And I found out about this like, I don't know, like 2 weeks before school started or something. And apparently it was something I should have known about. So I went around and I did. I busted my ass to try to collect as many of the examples as I needed to have, but I couldn't find everything that I needed. So I raided my older uncle's bug collection and presented some of them as my examples. And I mean, like, I think there were like probably some bugs in there from like the early 70s and shit. And I'm pretty sure Mr. Stevens knew what was up, but he gave me a pass on it. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, with that, Mama Scarton, Al, Amy, hope you appreciated the talk. It was kind of okay, we can talk about it. But again, thank you for getting the camera. Hi, camera. Cheers, Mama Scarton, Al, my sister the Pete. Cheers.
Your sister the what?
Pete.
Urine. Urine.
No, it stems from. I used to call her Pee Wee. And it just kind of, I shortened it to P. I still call it.
So P is short for Pee Wee.
Yes.
Did she ever at one point have a PW face?
No, it was.
Where you had shortened it from Pee Wee to PW, and then it eventually made its way.
Did I actually call her PW?
Yeah.
No, I just. Actually, for a while, it was Starbuck at first. I called her Starbuck. And then.
What about P-Dubs?
No.
Come on.
No, I didn't have red hair. Actually,
So how did it go from Starbuck to?
I don't even know. I don't even remember the transition. But
Are we talking cough?
no, it was an X-Files reference.
I was wondering.
Yeah. Because I was in my X-Files phase at that point, so I just started calling her Starbuck, and then all of her friends started calling her Starbuck, and I'm like, I'm not gonna do that anymore. So I called her P, and then it was just P the Wee, and then P the mother.
So there was a P the Wee.
P the Wee.
P the Wee.
And now it's just P. Hey P, where's my? Hold on. The P never died. So with that, let's move on to discussion 2, which is a brand new thing. Hopefully it's a reoccurring
It's a new
thing.
segment.
New segment. brought to us by Mikey, don't call him mashed potato Cavino.
Damn straight.
Mike, why don't you explain what we're doing?
Okay, so I actually was having a discussion with Jason. This was maybe over a year ago, a while ago, but
Pre-Wednesday Night Whiskey.
very much pre-Wednesday Night Whiskey. And
Really?
I do a thing where, oh yeah, I will bullshit people. Like, I'm a bullshitter.
Yeah.
But my biggest thing with my bullshitting is usually
There
if
goes the camera.
Earthquake!
she did fine.
That was wow.
It's fine. So, I like to bullshit people, but anytime that they like ask me, like, "Are you serious?" I always say no. Like, I'm not gonna drag people on for the most part.
It depends.
Every once in a while, I'll let something go forever.
It
but
depends.
I like to. I've gotten pretty good at bullshitting people, and it's not like harmful. I'm not a liar in the sense that like I ruin everything.
You like to have somebody on it.
Yeah, exactly. I like to have people on, and.
Me too.
So we were just discussing a fun like podcast idea where I would just come up with some ridiculous
Right, I
fake
remember,
facts,
yes, I
and
remember.
then one of them would just be an absurd real fact.
Yes.
And it would be cool to have like the listeners just try to figure out which one was the real fact.
Right.
So I thought maybe we could try that as a segment on the Wednesday Night Whiskey Committee. I came up with four.
I'm digging it.
There's 4 facts here, and one of them is a real fact, and the other 3 are made up by me. And I think maybe we should. So Jay knows the real fact out of all these, but he hasn't heard any of the fake ones. Jason is privy to none of them,
Right.
and I think it's worth it to let the listeners know which one is the real one at the end of the discussion.
At the end, or do you think we should actually have them, like, post on it and we'll reveal it next show?
I thought about that, but I think that there's going to be listeners that just want to know that they want.
Then there's like guys like Rick Wirtz who is like 6 episodes behind. You know, might listen to it and not get back to it for 6 weeks.
Yeah,
Rick.
so I'll just tell everyone.
Is that a fake fact that Rick Wirtz is 6 episodes behind?
That was actually.
Good
night, everybody.
Michael. All right. So without further ado, these are fake facts.
Can
And
we
again,
toast Rick Wirtz?
Sure.
That's my recommendation.
Recommendation.
all right. Fact number 1. In the medieval times, doctors had so many issues with influenza
True.
that they had no way to deal with the vomit. Eventually, they discovered that having their patients tilt their head up when they felt the urge to spew would sometimes result in less vomit, but more severe reactions. This is where the term throwing up came from. So that is fact number 1. I'll read it again. In the medieval times, doctors had so many issues with influenza they had no way to deal with the vomit. Eventually, they discovered that having their patients tilt their head up when they felt the urge to spew would sometimes result in less vomit, but more severe reactions. This is where the term throwing up came from. So that's fact number 1. Fact number 2. Some squids have donut-shaped brains that their esophagus passes through. If they eat something too large, they can get brain damage. So again, some squids have donut-shaped brains that their esophagus passes through, and if they eat something too large, they can get brain damage.
That's what happened to Squidward.
Doesn't matter, that's exactly what happened. And number 3, legendary performer Elton John was born colorblind. He wears special prescription lenses that correct his colorblindness, but he does so in a more extravagant way than most people. Again, legendary performer Elton John was born colorblind. He wears special prescription lenses that correct his colorblindness, but he does so in a more extravagant way than most people. And number 4, if you submerge a regular old butter knife in 2% or whole milk for over 48 hours, it will begin to bow as if it were made from plastic.
Or Yuri Geller was on it. You didn't get that reference. Wow.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, it's a weird one. Okay, so that one more time. If you submerge a regular old butter knife in 2% or whole milk for over 48 hours, it will begin to bow as if it were made from plastic. So if you guys are listening at home, you have fact number 1 about the throwing up, fact number 2 about the donut-shaped brains, fact number 3 about Elton John and his color blindness, and number 4 about the butter knife. I'm curious to what you did, Jason. What's going on over there?
I don't know. I mean,
See, I know the answer, and I'm not gonna because I'm excluded from this because I knew previously, but I'm actually disappointed that the one isn't real.
Really?
Yeah. Because I would love for that to be true.
Are they pretty cool though?
Yeah.
They're very good.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go through it fact by fact.
Okay.
I think number one is plausible. Well, actually, I think they're all somewhat plausible. For some reason, I'm just not inclined to go with that one, though, knowing how many alternate versions of throwing up there could be, you know. I don't have much to say about number two, but when I think about the anatomy of a squid, see, I dissected a squid before. I should know this, but I'm not 100% sure on that one.
We'll let you still talk to the audience about it.
Okay. I just want Elton John to be colorblind. It would explain some of his outfits.
That's true.
And you know, we do know that he has the extravagant glasses thing going on.
Yeah,
It would be kind of interesting if that was rooted in something besides non-corrective lenses or something.
Now they do make. And I think this has been a recent development. I'd say within the last 5 to 10 years. It's recent. That they actually have made corrective lenses for colorblind people that allow them to see color so long as they wear the lenses.
Well, see, that was the thing about that one that kind of stuck out to me, is that if that's a thing, I don't particularly remember it being a thing for that long.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm not going to go with that one.
I am Jay. Oh.
Well, you really missed it, Mike. We had a hellbanger while you
I actually heard every word you said while I was gone.
Oh, okay. Are you putting dog nip in there?
Yes. I don't think you had a drop.
Mostly just because it's the one that I want to be true the most. I'm going to go with number two.
Number two is what was your verdict on the milk? I didn't hear much of the discussion.
I didn't give any discussion on the milk.
Okay.
He rated it straight up kooky dooks.
Okay.
Well, I explain that by 2 words. Uri Geller. That's all I'm going to say.
Cool story.
Yeah.
So your official guess is number two.
My official guess is number two, that squids have donut brains.
And for everyone listening at home, this is your last chance to cast your ballots. Do you agree with Jason, or do you have another guess? The correct fact, Jay, you want to let him in on it?
Is number two.
Yeah.
Bing!
It's the squid.
Squids have donut-shaped brains. They can get brain damage from eating something too large.
Yeah. I mean, that actually made some sense to me when I thought about the anatomy of the squid. I thought I remembered from dissecting one that it had a circular brain, and would consider it that kind of stuck with me, so that's why I don't know.
The whole thing that brought that up was there was a thread on Reddit that was about obscure animal facts, and that was one of them, and that kind of jumped out at me. But there were some other pretty neat ones on there.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what animal has the most successful kill rate of any creature in the world?
Human beings.
Nope. We suck. We suck at it. It's a dragonfly.
Oh, I could believe. Yeah.
They have a 95% kill rate. Yeah.
They're nasty.
Yeah. Which is cool. I mean, that whole thread was cool. There's a lot of really neat facts in there.
But number one was the one that after you read it, I went, oh man, that would be brilliant.
Yeah, that one was pretty cool. I like that.
Did you cook that up?
Yeah.
Oh, it was so good.
I cooked all 3 of the fake ones up.
I'd like to toast Mike for having an excellent segment.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
I didn't get you. There we go.
So if you guys like that segment, let us know. I'll cook some more up. If not, fuck off.
I thought we were gonna do like multiples of here's 4 facts.
Multiple versions of that?
Yeah.
No.
Just
I think if we're gonna have it be recurring, it's good to keep it.
Yeah. See, okay, I just had an expectation. I was like, okay, what's the next one? And they're like, that's it.
See, that was a fake fact he threw at you.
It was. And I
He was
bit
like,
it.
no, we're gonna have dozens upon dozens.
The dozens. Ooh.
I like it. I love it. I want some tin cup with in my glass.
Here's a fact for you. Do you know that the bottle of Tin Cup is actually hexagonal shaped?
So it doesn't
So
roll
that-
up your Subaru.
That's exactly it, dude.
I was actually going to say, like, when I ran back out to my car to get the cables for the camera, I actually had run. I got out of the car, it was a Blazer. When I went out, it was a Subaru.
Oh, wow.
And it had transformed.
Hope that happens for me.
We're in Boulder.
Mikey needs a new set of wheels.
Yeah. Well, I
All
guarantee if you go to Boulder, you can get
You can get a Subaru cheap.
Yeah.
Now, this is kind of a impromptu discussion. It wasn't actually in the show notes.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, but we're
Are
going to
you pulling an audible?
Yeah, we're going to go into discussion number 3, which stemmed from a experience that I had over this past weekend.
Does it involve mashed potatoes?
It does not.
Okay.
However, mashed potatoes would be amazing with some gravy.
Only with the gravy, though.
Yeah, you gotta get good gravy.
Yeah.
You gotta get it.
Disagree.
But this was actually Mikey's idea. He said we should totally do this, and I said, all right. So discussion number 3 is, when was the last time you stuck your foot in your mouth and
Wow.
kind of really, maybe not so much regretted, but you know that kind of like, oh man, can I be anywhere else than here right now?
Now I would caveat this and say I'm not going to go with the last time that happened to me. I'm going to go with a notable time.
A
'Cause I go
notable.
quite a bit. I've been known to stick my foot pretty far in my mouth.
Yeah. Pretty
So-
much the last time I stuck my foot in my mouth was the last time I opened my mouth.
Right.
So I'll start it because it was my
I think you
experience.
should go last.
Really?
You got a good one.
Okay. Jason.
Oh, that means I have to go first. Okay, so I'll think of a notable. I had my children at the circus, and the attendant that was doing the popcorn up and down the aisles thing came up. I was with my buddy Jimmy Anuerysm, of course, who developed hives at that circus. That's a whole other story. Let's toast Jimmy Anuerysm.
Jimmy Anuerysm.
Love you, brother.
Of course, you had to wait until I sat back on the
Yeah,
couch.
I love you and I miss you, brother. At any rate, sitting there with the kids, it's Jimmy and I. He's got hives. This attendant comes up to sell us popcorn or whatever. Now, I still don't know what the gender of this person was. So I did it. I made it so there was absolutely no way that I could escape without offending the person. She, whatever. See, I'm doing it right now. Came over and asked if we wanted some popcorn or whatever, and I needed their attention again, and I said, "Excuse me, miss," because my first reading was female.
Right.
But then this person turned around and came and looked at me. When I got a better look, I thought that this person might be male. So then I referred to this person as sir.
Sure. So you covered both your bases.
So I covered both my bases, I was just struggling to cover both my bases, but then I thought about it afterwards that by doing that, there's also no way in which I didn't offend that person, because no matter which way you slice it, I had called them the wrong gender at least once, you know what I mean? So that was a pretty embarrassing moment, actually, because you could tell that this person had noticed it and was offended by it. So there was just no way around it.
Yeah, I could see how they could, unless they got it like all the time. I could see how you could be offended by it, but you'd almost have to instantly let it go.
Yeah, but if somebody thought you were a chick, man, they'd be.
At this point,
Yeah,
it'd be pretty interesting.
Yeah, but.
We gave it away to the beard.
Yeah. Right. Right.
That if you've ever waited tables,
Mary,
that happens so much.
Mary, quake contrary.
That is your beard grow.
That's not what I was gonna say. Yeah. You gotta hit Patreon for the rest of it.
So mine, this is a, God, this was a rough one. Every time I think back on it, I cringe. But I was working for a talent agency in Los Angeles.
Is that a code for something else, or is that?
I was in porn. I did porn.
That's right.
Yeah.
Were you a loader?
No, I was a fluffer.
Okay. Oh.
That makes total sense.
That does it. I can see you as a fluffer.
That's because I've got a really nice set of lips.
You got a nice fluff.
So it was actually a tier B talent agency. So we did instead of actors, we did like production assistants and producers and directors and things like that.
Okay.
So it was my first day there, and I walk in, and the lady that was working at the reception desk, I introduced myself. I said, "Hey, I'm Mike Camino." Went to shake her hand. I said, "I'm new here. Where should I go?" She stands up and starts showing me around the office. She said, "This is your desk. Someone will be around and give you the tour of the place." I said, "Okay." So it's kind of weird, but whatever. She didn't want to shake my hand. Whatever. So I sat down at my desk and started getting a lay of the land. Someone came up and was like, "All right, I'm going to introduce you to everyone, introduce you to the agents, introduce you to some of the interns, and get you to know the place." So I went and introduced myself to everybody. It was everyone was really cool. Shook everyone's hand.
Okay. Who do I got to fluff?
Exactly, that's what I said.
Yeah.
And I got back to the first girl, and I stuck my hand out, and she just gave me the fucking cold shoulder again. And I did what I think that most people that are me would do, which is I grabbed my own hand and I gave myself a handshake, and then I exaggerated. I did one of these, and I was like, "Yeah, that's how you shake a hand." And she kind of gave me this look like, "What the fuck, dude?" And I was like, "Whatever." So went back to my desk, started doing my all my work for the day, whatever. And then lunchtime rolled around. All the interns were at a lunchroom. The girl from reception comes in and reaches in the fridge, grabs her yogurt, and starts to open it. And one of the people stands up and was like, "Oh, let me help you with that." And I was like,
"Let me help you with opening your yogurt."
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. Why do you need help opening your yogurt? And then I realized she only had one fucking arm. Yeah, the other one was fucking prosthetic and had no use. It was her fucking right arm. Did not function at all. It was just prosthetic. Yep.
That's a good one.
As soon as I saw that, my heart sung, and I was like, "Well, looking for a new job."
Damn, dude.
It sucked.
Wow, dude.
It sucked.
Yeah.
That one, yeah. Alright, Jay.
Okay. Well,
This one might as well be an apology as well as.
this does come with the apology of I had no idea, but it also comes as a like why wasn't I told kind of tale. But I had a gig this past weekend, and at the gig there, the place is packed. There's balloons. There's a sign hanging above the bar that says "Happy Birthday," and I'm looking around, and there's a lot of people just having a good time. And I'm about 4 or 5 songs into my set, and I go.
We have to also mention that it's close to your birthday.
It is close to my birthday, and it was actually kind of like I wanted that show to be like me celebrating my birthday.
Right.
But I kind of saw something else was there playing, and I didn't even make a big deal about it. So, like I said, I'm a couple songs into the set, and I look around and I go, "Now, when's the birthday girl getting here?" And like the whole room went dead and kind of like looked at me and was just like, slashing their hand across their throat, like, "Mm-mm." And I was like, "What?" And finally, this lady stood up and walked over to me, and she says, "This is kind of like a memorial thing. She died." And I went, "Oh, man." Well, so this is kind of like a donation thing now, or there's gonna be jugs and things you can, and I just tried to make up for it as best as I could, but I kind of felt like thank you and good night.
Thank you and good night.
And I don't want to do this now anymore, ever. But no, it even felt weird, after a song or two later, because then I was double guessing, God, does this song have anything about someone dying?
Right,
in it,
right.
But after a while, I just went, hey, you know what? If I should have been told.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
I kind of just went you know what, whatever, and made it through the night. But yeah, it was kind of whew. And I am one of those guys that I really don't care for a lot of what people think.
Yeah.
In the first place, but they're few and far between. But that was ooh.
Oh yeah, that's a serious.
Time to go home. I'll just pick my stuff up later.
You should have been told, however, that's a a sensitive issue. You don't want to. Well, I'm kind of, I understand. I don't really give too many craps about what other people think. However, having said that, at the same time, you don't really want to hurt anybody's feelings,
right.
or
and that totally wasn't.
You're not out to offend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the only, I don't want to say that my feelings were hurt, but I was the only one that was caught in the pinch. It felt that way anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But so that was kind of a fun little thing there. And what just happened? Been talking about it.
That was Flower. If you heard a loud thump.
She's still alive. That was just her wrecking things.
Oh yeah, she's fine.
She's fine, by the way. The fan still works.
Yeah.
Well, I think that brings a close to the discussions. This might be the fastest. Nah, the first couple episodes we were a half hour.
I bet you we're deeper in anything you think we are.
Are we
Almost
really?
an hour. We'll probably be an hour by the end of the episode.
Yeah, that's all right then. We'll close the episode off the same way we have since the very beginning, the pilot episode on day 1. What are you listening to this week?
Like,
Huh? Just go right to Mike. Mike.
I just recently, so I have T-Mobile as my cell phone provider, and every Tuesday T-Mobile does a thing called T-Mobile Tuesdays, where they'll give you free shit just for being a T-Mobile subscriber.
really?
So, yeah. It's usually free movie rentals or movie tickets, or you can have Dunkin' Donuts, stuff like that. But this Tuesday they decided to give everybody a year's worth of Pandora Plus. So basically add free Pandora, which is pretty cool because I don't have Spotify Premium anymore. So yeah, why not add free Pandora? Sounds really
Sure.
yeah. So I've been messing around with that and fine tuning stations, and of course one of my favorite bands, Bon Iver, I had to make a station of, and it was playing some of the music that I had listened to in the past, but were kind of phased out. I hadn't listened to them in a while. So a band, The Head and the Heart, came on, and I remember really enjoying them, but not really listening to them the whole time. So that came on. I don't really have an album because, like I said, it's Pandora Plus, but I do have a song that'll go on the playlist. It's called 10,000 Weight in Gold. But it's good music. It's kind of upbeat, and I like the harmonies. It's pretty groovy. It reminds me of a couple of my buddies from out in California, so it's nice to get those kind of feelings back when you listen to a song. So,
Cool.
yeah.
Jason.
As you know, this happens every once in a while. And little shout out to somebody I feel is my partner in crime, Mr. Rick Wirtz, because I get on these Steely Dan kicks, and lately I've been on a little bit of a Dan kick again, and I'm not gonna say it's my favorite, but a real go-to album for me is Royal Scam, and I was just looking up some different stuff about that album. Re-listening to the stuff, and the song that I'm gonna go with is "Everything You Did." not just because Larry Carlton plays a cool, tasty solo, but there's a lyric in the song that says, "Turn up the Eagles, the neighbors are listening." And apparently Walter Becker's girlfriend really liked the Eagles, and it drove him completely nuts. So one night they were having a fight, and he was arguing about her listening to the Eagles, and that turned into a line in the song, and I just thought that was awesome, that there was sort of a little dig. Now, they played it off that it was sort of just like a little, touche. I'm gonna call that song just because, for the Eagles reference in it.
I appreciate the Eagles reference in that one.
Yeah, right. Which apparently they returned the line, and this is a little bit of trivia. Apparently in Hotel California, the line was going to be that they stab it with their Steely Dan, but they just can't kill the beast, but they changed it to Steely knives. And that was sort of like their little retort, so that was kind of interesting.
That's cool. My pick this week is at work. I've been kind of when all the figureheads are going, because it's a little, I don't want to say offensive, because it's not, but it just.
Have you been watching Peter Gabriel videos again?
No. A little abrasive maybe might be the right term, but I've been watching a few Nirvana concerts.
Oh yeah, you watched some good ones the other day.
And a song that instantly came back to me as one of my favorite Nirvana tunes. They actually, the one concert I watched, they opened with it, and I was like, that's a great song to open with. They did have a live album, and I'm going to choose the live album for this one, and that's the version I'm going to post. But the album is from the Money Banks of the Whiskah, and the song is Anuerysm.
Is that why Nirvana's been coming up on my
Yes.
YouTube? You guys gotta sign me out before you listen to garbage. I'm trying to figure out why that trash is coming up on my YouTube mixes, and that makes so much sense now.
You're welcome.
Who else? Joy Division? Is somebody listening to Joy Division at work too?
That wasn't me.
That was not me.
God.
I was trying to think of who.
It might have been Rick, because he'll go through his new wave phases.
Oh, wow, that's really interesting.
Yeah. You gotta sign me out or something. I can't listen to Nirvana.
Can't listen to Joy Division.
Well, I think that effectively puts the cork in this week's show. Thanks again, everyone, for tuning in this week. We always have a good time doing this show. We hope you'll stick around for the very next episode. We appreciate all the Whisketeers, new and old. Here's a little fact I had from day one to day 240. It really does mean a lot to us. So thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
From the bottom of our glass, thank you for
That's
tuning
nice.
in each week. With that, I am Jay.
I am Michael.
I am Jason.
And we are the Wednesday Night Whiskey Committee. Please listen responsibly.